Today, ndị hidden eburu nebata n'ụlọ ụka. Na last bus stop onye ụka lụrụ nwanyị ma ọ bụ lụrụ di na-ebido marriage ọhụụ, family ọhụụ, ka ebe bụ their last bus stop. Through what? Church wedding. And I want to correct something here. Even some of us, you can say, white wedding. Ihe na-abụ ka enwe traditional marriage and church wedding. Enwerọkwa white wedding. Today, what has in the church uniform hidden in church? What have they done? Abịa n'ụtụtụ, agba akwụkwọ n'ụlọ ụka, ruo na mgbede, megịnị? Na-akwụgheri ka ozu akwara akwa. A na-eme ada chekem. Ajụọ gịnị ka ọ na-akpagharị eme? Ọ sị ya na-eme gịnị? This is a man ụkọchukwu echiri echi na Anglican Church. Were gịnị akekọọ n'aka n'iru Jehova nke usu na nke usoro niile nke ndị agha. Sị ndị ụka ekwuwa mbido taa, Joseph na Josephine bụzi di na nwunye. N'aha nke nna na nke ọkpara na nke ụnụnwa n'ebe a, ụmụ unu na-eme, ụmụnne unu, and you support them. These are because I na-ekwu hidden of us ndị na-ekpere arụsị n'ọrụ onwe ha. These are things many of us do here.
Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on which part of the world you're seeing this video from. Welcome to Enwane Cultural Forum, where we promote the rich cultural heritage of the Igbo people. Today's episode is a very hard one. Today we are looking at how the church, yes, the church, may have played a role in breaking down the traditional Igbo marriage system that once held families and communities together. Now, I want you to get me right. This isn't about attacking religion. It's about asking questions, looking at facts, and being honest about what really happens to us as a people. Before the church came, marriage in Igbo land was sacred, not just between a man and a woman. It was a union between two families, two lineages, two communities. Marriage had roots. It had a process that brings two lineages together. Whenever you get married, you didn't just marry a person, you married their people. You saw the elders, you knocked on the door, you paid the bride price with pride. You negotiated with your in-laws. They understood your financial situation. You understood theirs. It wasn't about money. It was about respect, accountability, and a sense of belonging. Whenever marriage failed, the whole kindred would rise to fix it. That was how the marriage institution in Igbo land was built. There was structure and there was meaning. There was a sense of belonging and there was a sense of community in marriage. The wife was considered our wife, and every grown male in the lineage she considers my husband. First, she has many people to respect and many people who are younger than her who look up to her. First was the marriage institution respected in Igbo land. But then, as usual, the church arrived. It came with salvation, education, new morals, and yes, a new kind of marriage called the white wedding. I know you heard the priest trying to deny that it's called church wedding, not white wedding. That's just euphemism. Some call it white wedding, some call it church wedding, but it's still the same thing. The cultural marriage of the Englishman imported down to us in Igbo land. What was the implication of that? It meant that suddenly our customs were called pagan custom. Pouring libation, oh, I saw that one as you are pouring drinks to the devil. It was forbidden. These were drinks that would be blessed in the past, and then you pour a little to your ancestors, but they were considered anathema. They were considered pagan practices of the Igbo people, and so it was forbidden. Now what about kola nut, which we use for oathing? It is kola nut and palm wine that we use for our marriage ceremonies. But first of all, They discarded and discouraged people from taking palm wine by saying it is alcoholic. Then you will see some people using juice, 5 alive, ever, to do marriage ceremony. So sad, right? But they still have the guts to call it ebanko, ebamanya. But you're using juice for your ebanko and ebamanya. How right can that be? So they discourage people from taking palm wine, discourage people from using kola nut. So the kola nut ritual was considered an idolatry. The ebanko wine was set aside. The ceremony was reduced to just culture, not something spiritual or binding. The drink, which is the manyanko, and the kola nut were used for binding. Moment a man pays a bride price, this kola nut is blessed, given to him to eat a part of and give the remaining parts to his wife. This drink was blessed, given to the man, say, eat a little part of it and give the rest to your wife. And then you see men of these days who believe their in-laws are witches and wizards. A blessed drink that is meant for his oathing and binding, he will pour it to the ground, upsetting his ancestors, upsetting his in-laws' ancestors as well, and therefore rendering his marriage null and void on the first day of his marriage. The church wedding replaced this traditional marriage effectively. White dress replaced our akwacha. Our coral beads were also replaced with jewelry. Pastors placed orders on altar, and the altar replaced the family compound as well. So that when a man wants to get married, instead of consulting with his kinsmen, he goes to consult with his pastors. When a young girl wants to get married, they tell her, no, don't go to your village, don't go to your family. Do it here in Lagos, do it in Abuja, invite the people you can. The ones you cannot, don't invite them. If you go there, they will kill you. And before you know it, a lot of young people get married in the city without going to their village, using various reasons as excuse. In this shift of confusion, something powerful got lost. The community's hold over marriage is now lost. Marriage is no longer a sacred institution between two families, between two lineages, and between two communities. It is now between a man and his wife. They can join at will and separate at will. When you remove family, you remove the roots of marriage. Traditional marriage tied people to responsibility. You couldn't just walk away from traditional marriage. Your kindred would intervene. Your elders would mediate. They will ask, what is the problem, my in-law? And how can we remedy it? Today, as you heard that priest propose, many young people marry in the church and say, marriage done and dusted. When they say this marriage done and dusted, they may have just gone for Ekwakanozo in their father's house, and they post photos on social media to say, marriage done and dusted. No elders, no rituals, no communal bond, nothing at all. Just a priest in front of them, laying hands on them and making prayers. He is not the oldest member of their family. He is not authorized traditionally to give out a girl's hand in marriage, but he is doing so. On what grounds? I am her pastor. So when things eventually fall apart, there is no one to step in. No one feels accountable. And there's no one to say, my in-law, come, sit down. What is the problem? The Igbo traditional marriage has been erased, such that marriages in Igbo land have now become more private, more fragile, because the village no longer stands behind the couple, because the community no longer comes together to say, Ndi be here, ndi ezinụlọ here, nani kweno. See, my dear brothers and sisters, this is not just history, it's emotional for me. Think of a father watching his daughter marry in church without a single traditional rite done. Think of the elders standing outside because their role has been replaced by a priest whose village they do not even know. Think of how that feels to watch your culture fade in the name of holiness. That is exactly what Chinua Achebe described as things falling apart. For many families, the church didn't just change the ceremony, it changed their identity. It made young people ashamed of their roots, as if their ways of life and the ways of life of their ancestors were evil. And once shame enters, culture dies quietly. Now we have colorful Christian weddings, flowers, rings, and what have you. We even have vows between the couple, this time not with kola nuts, but with little community spirit behind it. Friends and well-wishers, they form association of friends, they call it committee of friends. The girl has her committee of friends with her shebi, girls who will dance behind her, the man has his own, but these people disappear after the ceremony. You have couples who are spiritually married but culturally disconnected. We now have homes where family mediation is seen as interference, and slowly the traditional institution of marriage, the one that holds our people together, is fading away. This used to be the most respected traditional institution of the Igbo people, the marriage institution. But sadly, this is just how decay began, not in one day, but through slow rejection of everything that once gave marriage its color and pride of place. These were the things that gave marriage its weight and value in the society. So what can we do? First, the church must stop demonizing our culture. Not everything in Igbo tradition is against God. In fact, we had respect. We have known God long before the European contact. We had respect, unity, and family, and those are godly values too. Second, we must blend both worlds. You can have your church wedding and still honor our traditional marriage vows with our Omonna and the Zuebo and the Keidumu. You can still say your vows, still pour that wine for your in-laws. You can pray and still bless your marriage with kola nuts and still have your wedding in your church if you wish to. When we bring both together, faith and culture will rebuild what was broken. But sadly, you heard what the priest was saying, that after you finish in church, you still go and start doing, what do you call it? He regards that as a waste of time. Whereas that was the important thing. That aspect, the traditional marriage is the important thing. But he's still seeing it as irrelevant, as a waste of time. We shouldn't be. Now I know this topic cuts deep. For some, it feels like questioning their faith. But this is not rebellion. It is reflection, and I want you to see it as such. The church gave us hope, but it also stripped us of some of our roots and values. Now it's our duty to bring balance back, to honor both God and our ancestors who built the foundation we stand upon today. Because if we lose our culture, we lose ourselves. And if marriage loses its roots, families lose strength. Thank you for watching today's video on Enu and a Cultural Forum. If you are moved by this video, please share it. Let's start a real conversation about faith, culture, and identity in today's Igbo land. I am Onwade Ngozi Chukwuka Fortune. See you in our next video. Thank you.